Brothers and sisters, Merry Christmas. As I speak these words, it's still Christmas. A few hours left in this beautiful season, and it is a season. So it ends today on the feast of the baptism of Jesus. But that's not what I want to talk about today. This isn't a Christmas greeting. There's another important greeting too. Happy New Year. And yet, we celebrated our New Year as believers, especially as Catholic Christians, literally on November the 27th, more than a month ago. In fact, we celebrated the New Year last year in November, the very first weekend Sunday of Advent, a new year of grace, new year of prayer, a new year of feasts and festivals and of our faith. And it's a wonderful way to begin during that Advent season. But we're in very good company. We really are. Different peoples, different times and eras in our history. Different cultures as well have celebrated and continue to celebrate New Year in different ways and even at different times. Actually, last September, the 25th of September, our Jewish brothers and sisters celebrated their New Year, Rosh Hashanah. The Chinese have yet to celebrate the New Year because they won't celebrate it until January the 22nd, a few weeks from today. It's the year of the rabbit, so I guess it's going to go really fast. But most of the world that we live in, ourselves included, we also and most normally celebrate a New Year on January the 1st. And that's actually more than a week and a half behind us, but it's not too late to pray blessings upon that new year. And how beautiful that our church, our Catholic Church, offers the world both an event and a blessing on this day, that January 1st that we celebrated just really a few days ago. The event is Mary as a beautiful mother, bringing a child into the world. And the feast is the feast of Mary as Mother of God. And we did celebrate the very beginning of the New Year, as most people account it, with that beautiful feast. She has a title that she's had for centuries, and even for centuries before it was officially proclaimed, Mother of God. But it was officially proclaimed by our Catholic Church, pretty close to the beginnings of our church. In fact, in the 5th century, the year 431, there was an ecumenical council. Ecumenical, you might know that word from the Second Vatican Council, which was also an ecumenical council. Ecumenical meaning bishops from all over the world, a worldwide council, are invited to come to dialogue, to speak, to even engage in debate about important issues in the church. So we've done this for centuries and centuries. So one of the early ones was in the city of Ephesus. So in the Council of Ephesus in the year 431 AD, year of our Lord, there were some controversies about who Jesus was and some disagreement, believe it or not, about his nature, about his human nature, his divine nature, and how those came together in one person, and some disagreement about that. So they proclaimed Mary in that council officially. She'd been called this before, but officially she became Theotokos, Greek for Mother of God. Another English translation would be Christ bearer, the one who carries Christ within her, literally. So on the very first day of the normal calendar year, our church is reminding us about who Jesus is, because calling Mary the Mother of God says as much about Jesus as it does about her. It's an affirmation of the divinity of Christ. There's a beautiful, simple little gesture in prayer that takes place during the Eucharist, the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, as the priest or sometimes the deacon is preparing the chalice right after the offertory. The gifts of bread and wine have been brought forward, and the chalice is being prepared. So wine is poured into the chalice, and then the priest or bishop will take a container with water and very carefully try to pour just one small drop of water into the chalice filled with wine. And as he's doing it, he says, through this mingling, this coming together of this water and wine, may we share in the divinity of Christ, who humbled himself to share in our humanity. And you can't see it from where you're sitting, usually on a Sunday morning or whenever you go to church on Sunday. But from my vantage point, it's beautiful, because that tiny drop of water, it literally disappears. It becomes one with the wine. And that's exactly the point. That we want, in a sense, our humanity to just be overwhelmed, in a good sense of the word, overwhelmed by his holiness, by his divine nature, by his goodness. And that is truly a great way to start the new year. On that January 1st, we had a very powerful reading from the book of Numbers. And to put it into context, this passage comes at a time when Moses is preparing his people, God's people, to enter into the promised land. And he asks his brother, Aaron, because evidently Moses had a speech impediment, and Aaron, his brother, became his spokesman. In fact, Aaron would become the first of the priests of Israel, the priestly class. And Moses gives him some instructions in this passage from the book of Numbers, and it comes from the very end of chapter 6. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons, and tell them, this is how you shall bless the Israelites." And I want this to be a blessing for you and for all of us at the beginning of this new year of life. Say to them, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. So shall they invoke my name upon the Israelites, and I will bless them." That's a promise from God, and we can count on it. So, yes, my brothers and sisters, God bless you and those you love always and in every way.